I am Millard Bennett. It is my pleasure to introduce my friend Paul J. Meyer. You know the title of his presentation, How to Prospect Your Way to Millions. However, what you may not know is how his powerful, pragmatic sales philosophy came into being. As a number of other outstanding innovators in the complex world of business, Paul J. Meyer was not born wealthy, but he had one great asset, a clear, incisive mind. This, plus boundless energy, curiosity, and ambition, enabled him to amass more wealth within a span of but 10 years than 10 average men earn in a lifetime. He launched his remarkable career in salesmanship before he reached the age of 20, and only 7 years later his personal fortune exceeded $1 million and has grown steadily since then. Now, what manner of young man is this, who moves so dynamically from obscurity to nationwide prominence and outstanding success in this short time? Because I have known him intimately for most of these years, I can answer this question. Paul J. Meyer is a quiet man, soft-spoken, modest in both dress and manner. Yet he is a zealot, a crusader, a man on fire with the enthusiasm of a deep and fervent conviction. He believes that salesmanship is the finest and most rewarding career to which any man can aspire. He believes that every man, through courage and the force of his own personality, can achieve whatever goal he sets for himself. He also believes that scientific sales prospecting is the lifeblood, the fiber, and the essence of successful selling. Fortunately, among his other attributes, Paul possesses the unique ability to distill, assess, and judge his own wide experience in diverse fields of selling. This knowledge, accumulated over the years, he now brings to you on this recording. Listen to him. You will find his counsel invaluable, regardless of your age, sex, or occupation. Yes, listen to this one man in a million as he explains how to prospect your way to millions.
What is prospecting?
This is Paul J. Meyer. I've been asked many times to define prospecting. The only practical answer I've discovered is to relate the question to my own experience. When I began my career as a salesman, I took stock of myself, added up the assets and liabilities. At that point, as a very young man, I was appalled at the extent of the liabilities. Apparently, I lacked every attribute of a top salesman. I had no sales experience, no extensive education, no voice training, and certainly no captivating personality. These were the liabilities. As far as the assets were concerned, I could find only one. That was a determination so strong it amounted to almost an obsession, a burning, overwhelming desire to become a master salesman. Even at that early age, I considered this quality an asset for the simple reason that I had never heard of anyone achieving success who didn't want to achieve it. However, I recognized the need for action to transform my desire into reality. The initial step was to study and analyze all the successful salesmen I could possibly meet and know. From here, I began to map my own plan. I concentrated on improving my voice and personality, method of presentation, answering objections, making appointments, and closing sales. It was then that I realized what was missing. My improved talents didn't mean a thing unless there were enough prospects on which to apply them. Or in other words, without people to see, I could no more sell than a surgeon could operate without a patient. I went back to all the professional and successful salesmen I knew and asked one question of them all. After you set your goal to succeed in selling, what is the single most important quality you can develop? They all gave the same answer: prospecting, seeing enough of the right people at the right time. Actually, it makes very little difference what you're selling. Insurance, mutual funds, stocks, bonds, appliances, automobiles, landscaping, real estate, or any other product or service. Your eventual success will be determined entirely on your ability to prospect. The larger your selection of prospects, and the more you know about these prospects, the more qualified buyers you will develop, and the higher your closing average will be. This, then, I can tell you after 15 years of extensive experience. I would rather be a master prospector than a master of speech and have no one to tell my story to.
The hub and the spokes.
In many ways, prospecting can be likened to the hub of a wheel. Each spoke in the wheel reaches the hub at a different point. So it is with prospecting. There are several different ways to arrive at the center of success. Generally speaking, these various methods can be classed under approximately 6 different headings. First, the cold canvas. This is probably the most unpopular plan that any salesman makes use of. Calling on strangers all day long isn't a very productive way to spend your time. However, I've known some men to use it very effectively. Second, the observation method. Some salesmen are of the opinion that this is the best plan of all. I'll explain it in detail later on. Right now, it is sufficient to say that observation, to an alert salesman, is infinitely more than just seeing. He keeps his eyes and ears open for every opportunity to meet new people in new situations. Third, the endless chain referral system. This plan very nearly approaches the ideal method of prospecting. As the name implies, it is a system in which the salesman sets up an endless chain and strives to keep it going indefinitely. When he makes a sale, he gets the names of several prospects from his new customer, then the names of other prospects from consecutive customers. We'll explore this principle further in a subsequent band. Fourth, old customers. One of your best sources of business is from old customers. In many cases, they are friendly, cooperative, and eager to help you. Oddly enough, many salesmen have a bad habit of neglecting old customers. Then one day, to their sorrow, they discover that the old customer has become a prospect for someone else. Fifth, nests. A very productive way of developing new business is to work from one prospect to another in the same office or plant. Thus, you create a nest of prospects in one location or in one business or profession. There are numerous advantages to this method, which I'll explain when we take it up in detail. Sixth, center of influence. This is the system of prospecting to which I attribute the majority of my own success. The center of influence plan is based on this simple premise. The easiest way to see a person effectively is to be sent to him by someone he respects. When you develop an association with this kind of person, you have created a powerful center of influence from which you can obtain countless good prospects. It is phenomenal how many sales can often be traced back to the recommendation and influence of one powerful customer. This particular method has infinite possibilities and variations, and every one of them has a built-in success feature. A complete understanding of the principles involved in a center of influence prospecting plan can guarantee more sales and greater profits than you've ever known before.
The new prospector.
Never forget the fact that prospects are people. That may sound like I'm belaboring the obvious. Actually, I'm not. In any system of prospecting, before you select which people may be prospects or potential customers, consider all the people you see everywhere. Successful prospecting doesn't depend on any of those people you don't know. You are solely responsible for your own success, and that in turn depends primarily on your attitude or frame of mind. Begin to school yourself right now in the idea that people generally are no longer just people. Actually, they're all prospects for whatever you have to sell. With this attitude firmly implanted, you'll be amazed at how different everyone appears to be. Before long, your change of mind will bring an even more remarkable change, an altered reaction toward what you once considered just a crowd. The people you see aboard trains, planes, and buses, in theaters and restaurants, even the groups of marching men who go swinging down the street in a holiday parade, they've all suddenly changed from anonymous, faceless people to separate individuals, and they're all prospective customers. I practice this attitude constantly. Whenever I'm in an airliner coming in for a landing over a small town or large city, I look down and count every house I can see, not as houses, but as the homes of prospective customers. Once you've established this turnaround truth, people are prospects and prospects are people, you'll notice an even greater change in yourself. The physical action of prospecting, arranging to see and talk to new people every day, will cease to be a part-time chore and become instead a dynamic driving force, an obsession. When this happens, I'll guarantee you're on your way to a permanent career in professional selling. If you're a new prospector, an ideal place to start prospecting is right in your own home. Ask your wife and the other members of your family to help you. First, on a plain sheet of paper, prepare a list of names, an initial inventory of prospects. That is, write down the names, addresses, and telephone numbers of everyone you and your family know. At this point, don't concern yourself with whether or not any of the names you've listed may be interested in what you're selling. You can indicate that information later. Next, from any stationery store, obtain a small file box and at least 500 3x5-inch file cards, plus chronological dividers to fit into the file. Now, transfer the names from the initial inventory list to individual cards. Also indicate on the card any relevant information you may know about the prospect. Where they're employed, married or single, to what club or church they belong, anything and everything that will help to bring that particular person into sharper focus every time you look at the card. You're now ready to start prospecting in earnest, to arrange appointments by telephone, to make each appointment the opportunity for a sales presentation, and to close successive sales. You can do it because you've established a well-ordered system of prospecting.
The Endless Chain Referral System.
By this time, if you've combined theory with productive action, your prospect file should be in fairly good shape. Some of the names may not have produced the results you originally anticipated, but they're worth keeping for future calls and reference. However, in the continuance of this practice, I want to inject a word of caution. Don't allow a large number of prospects to create a false sense of security. It is at the conclusion of a successful sale that you forge the first link of an endless chain referral system. All that's necessary is to ask your customers to give you the names of several people they know personally, people who might be interested in the product or service you're selling. At this point, these names are only suspects. Later on, we'll explain how to convert them into genuine prospects. Don't forget to note your old customers' names on the new prospects card, so you'll be constantly aware of the source of each referred name. Of course, you'll repeat the same procedure over and over again, asking every customer for the names of several new prospects. So actually, they name their own replacements in your file. Multiply this same situation by 20, 30, or 40, and you'll soon have a prospect file that can't possibly become exhausted. Remember, the success of the endless chain referral system depends on your asking for the names of new prospects every time you complete a sale. Assuming that most of your sales work is done during the day or early evening hours, it's a good idea to establish a habit of working on your prospect file, bringing it up to date every night before you retire. This is an ideal time to select the prospects' names you'll contact during the current week, or to telephone for scheduled appointments the following day. The file, at this point, should be operating with optimum efficiency. Name cards filed chronologically for quick reference according to the month, week, and day that a future appointment has been arranged. Another organizational aid that I have used for a number of years in connection with my prospect file is called a weekly work organizer. In appearance, it resembles a pocket-sized flat wallet. Its interior consists of several envelopes or pockets that hold at least 6 of the 3x5-inch file cards in separate compartments. With the organizer, you can carry an entire week's schedule of cards arranged in orderly sequence. Several of the major insurance companies and other large industries supply their sales staffs with various kinds of work organizers. Their use definitely increases the calls to clients' efficiency of any salesman. In this initial side of the first recording, we've just discussed prospects' names on the cards and some of the fundamentals of prospecting. In the next band, we'll investigate a systematic method of establishing their ratings.